All right, hell yeah. This is going to be the next section, and I kind of tapped it in place, and it's going to be perfect. So it's going to come down and then maybe overlap that seam 2 inches. And so I'm digging that. And so booyah. And I think it's good to come down and tack it. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because we could just go both. Actually, I think it would be better if it ends and then the other part comes up to the end and then we put a seam. Just because what happens with this stuff when it gets gluey on the edge, it starts just to get crusty. You know what I mean? So over here, it's got something to bite against, and I think that is going to be better. And so let's see. So we're gonna have to do this whole thing. So even over here is hell yeah. That's already done because I come up to the floor and then I just do a seam that covers both of that. And so I definitely like the way that lays in. Okay, so let's do it. Catch on the flip side. All right, hell yeah. So we're definitely getting the technique down and we're heavily wetting the other side. We're keeping this side dry. We're kind of wetting the edges. And so, hell yeah, we're getting such a great tack. And so, yeah, that's looking real good. And so now that's fully wrapped. I think this is basically fully wrapped. You know what I mean? We got a little hole right there. Um, hell yeah. And so, yeah, this is looking great. So now the only places that are exposed are these two, teeth. The cross member is just a chunk of foam. And so I don't know how, well, I wouldn't want, might as well try to waterproof the whole thing though. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can see anything. But hell yeah. So now that's fully wrapped on that side. And so what's not fully wrapped? And that actually worked out great because yesterday we had this and it basically almost came up to, sorry about that. It came up to that full line. And so that's looking good. I just think I need to overlap, about midway. Hell yeah. This though I would need to overlap at least. That's probably critical, but hell yeah. Almost go right down to that seam. Maybe an inch before. That's pretty sweet. And even here, I can just do little patches. You know what I mean? Like I can maybe do a patchwork. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what we do. I guess we made our life complicated because we put this thing in, and it's really not that great. It's not even low to the ground enough. But it does, you know what I mean? It gets the mind running that if you have a boat that's structurally sound and you can remove this material because the whole board underneath it is basically its structure, then you could have zero entry right here, just enough to actually have a little wall that makes sense. But even that wall, you can do some cool stuff with it. You could actually, so you could hinge it, and one commenter is like, hey, you just do piano hinges. That's very customary in the R1 or in the raft world. But hell yeah. And then, so you could even have like this, hinge down. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I'm working on. Where and entrapment free, where if you do pull on it, you actually have like a ribbon of material that's connected. You know what I mean? So you don't have any weird places to get caught into. But hell yeah. Yeah, so those things are just kind of fascinating. And you could have it literally to where, I don't know, if it actually filled in with water, then that would just, pop to the side and kind of pop out. But then when it goes this way, you know what I mean? When you go edge of the boat, it's going to hold up against something, a couple stops. So that is pretty, that's ingenious right there because it takes care of two things. This boat, because it's one piece, takes care of a lot of things because you have structure from the floor. You don't need these perimeter tubes to be structural. So that's kind of what this would be showing. You could have zero entry right here with a hinge. Yeah, Yeah, it's just kind of fascinating. All right, hell yeah. Talking in circles. Booyah.